All right. Well, just trying to start something here. Little open mic, roundtable discussion about the things that are making us nervous. This new earth that we're walking on, that we're not waiting for anymore. I put the Zoom link in the announcements, YouTube, X, and Facebook. If you want to come in the studio and have a chat and bail me out, let's do it. I'm not sure if it's getting out there. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Some of us, look at things different than others. And but one thing you can say is we got an eclipse here in about what, 3.5 hours that peaks in about what, 6.5 hours. Um, and I know that there's, astrology and there's the Kali Yugas and the precession of the equinoxes, but and I am totally tapped into nothing has power over me, but there are signs. And I think we're in a very, very special period. I think we've been going through a lot. And I don't believe that we have shared enough what we're all going through for one reason, because it's happening so fast. And for the other, we've never done it before, you know? So, yeah, anyone that wants to come in and sit down and talk about things in a different way or try to, I'm not saying we can, but yeah, let's give it a shot. I think for all the seeds that we planted over the years, all of us in our own ways, that something changed or is changing, maybe with this equinox. I don't know. But for me, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, this has been a very, 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 very um, phase of solitude. And I say that in the greatest, highest reverence. I'm living with my, can't even describe it. But yet, still in this human incarnation, we went through this thing. The winter, you might say. Certainly, if you're in the northern hemisphere. And we're coming out now. And as we can get too excited when we go into the fear programs and all that stuff and things happen, and we've all been part of it, there's nothing to be ashamed of. The same can happen when we get these activations and we rise. And hmm, somebody's here. I was about to go into polarities. Let's see here. I'm going to bring this person on and anyone else that wants to come in. I'm nervous. If you're nervous, come in. That's the most powerful part. Okay. All right, here we go. Hello.
Todd,
How
it's
are you?
crisp. I'm great.
Chris? Chris?
Call me crispy.
Crispy.
Yeah.
How are
Well, my name
you?
starts with a P, so it's crispy, but
Crispy.
it's also
Crispy. All right. Crispy on Pi Day of a red blood moon eclipse. Let's
exactly.
connect the dots. Let's connect the dots. How are you? Thank you for coming in and sharing space with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you. I live in Japan, and it's 9:24 in the morning here the next day. Can you believe it? It's crazy.
What is the next day?
Yeah,
Well, this
right?
is cool, man.
It's
How
here
did you
in
come across the open mic?
On Facebook. I just
Oh
saw
yeah.
you went live like 3 minutes ago, and I was like, okay.
Have you done it before? Have you got on live before?
No, not with you. No,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
We just exchanged a few things earlier this week about the divine feminine, the divine masculine, actually.
Wait. Okay. On Facebook Messenger or what?
Not on Messenger. We didn't directly connect on Messenger, but
Oh,
on one
okay,
of your
okay.
posts.
Right over my head. No, but I got
Eh,
you. I got you. Let's bring in the multidimensionality. Yeah, I got you.
sure, sure, sure.
Um,
So, what's your normal theme, or what do you normally talk about here in your lives?
well, I don't know how much you know about my journey, but
I
I
don't
spent
know anything.
good. I love that. I got to
Tell
tell you a
me.
story from there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is, well, I'm okay. You'll understand. Let me just give the backdrop, especially
Sure.
this is great. This is great. So,
Good, good, good.
um, around 2012, I'm not going to say everyone, but for some people it's 2017, for some it was 1999. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something happened and I
Yep.
got charged, and I, got involved with what I was doing, which became this sacred union in form and became this podcast, Soul Speaks
Okay.
5D, where I talk to people, normal people. I mean, I
Yep.
had like David Icke on it, but I mean, it was you. It
Right.
was you and me talking. It wasn't an interview. It was a conversation, right?
Got it.
And so I did that for several years, thousands of episodes, and
Okay.
then because of COVID, I was separated physically from my wife for 37 months. And we
Okay.
met through our work. And then we got, it was this whole saga, right?
Wow.
So I come back with her. I totally am depleted. And at some level, understanding that I'm being cleaned out and the real stuff's about to come in
Okay. Wow.
slowly, naturally, organically.
Sure.
And yeah, so what happened was my work has been associated with Sology,
Okay.
and
Right.
I haven't done anything as Sology, although it's because I'm in this space where I think a lot of us are right now in this deep, 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 this deep stuff where there's some kind of value, not from the comprehension of the conscientious level. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't come, but
Right.
um, where we can expand in the moment from what we come into balance with or harmonics with or whatever the case is.
Yep.
So I step into this in first part of January. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to try something. So I'm going to have these podcasts, and it's going to be episode 001, John
Uh-huh.
Smith, and that's the name of the podcast. The next
Okay.
one is, all right. So we're 36 into it, and
Right.
I knew 36 would be a good number
Yep. Three and
because I
six is
respect
nine.
numbers. I'm not saying anything's got control of
Right.
me, but I'm
Yeah,
saying, you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what, man, we, if I really want to walk the talk, we designed this thing. Who better
Yeah.
to fool you than yourself? You know what I mean? So,
We are good
so
at
here,
that.
and so like, living this, I was going to say 5D, but I'm like, living this
Uh-huh. Hmm.
multi-dimensional,
Yeah.
human multi-dimensional, that's two different things,
Okay.
a reunification with my wife with the physicality involved
Right.
on terms and in a space that's that's in some way reflective of what's happening or what's available. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, where allowance is, I don't know how to say it, but to say that there is something going on. And I don't
Indeed.
care what you tap into, what podcast, and I've
Right.
done it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone. What I'm trying to say is something's fucking happening
Yeah.
with here,
Uh-huh.
here.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that.
No more dreams, pipe dreams, no more, this is the real shit. And
Right.
this is the code that breaks all this bullshit. And just like that,
Nice.
in
Yeah.
any moment,
Yeah.
Thank you
Right.
for letting me speak, brother.
Yeah, no,
Tell
I
me how long
appreciate
you've
it.
been in Japan or whatever you want to talk about. Thank you for letting me
Yeah.
speak.
I've been here 20 22 years basically. Um, Came over in 2003. I met a Japanese woman in 2001 and we fell in love in Vancouver. She had her working holiday visa and we met like on her day 4 or something and she said, "Why don't you come teach English in Japan?" And I'm like, "I know English." Okay. So I did. Yeah, yeah, that was about it, man. In 2003. And actually, interesting you mentioned 2012. I was into the Mayan calendar back in 98, 99, and you know, interested in it. I got some tattoos and stuff, so it's for life, right? And in 2012, we actually left Japan and moved back to Toronto, which is where my family lives. I was born near there, although I lived most of my life in Vancouver. But we lived in Toronto for 2012 and 2013, and then moved back to Japan. I know there was a lot happening around 2012. It's still happening. It's unfolding. You could say time is speeding up, as it were. But in about 2016, I was meditating one day and I had a vision come through, and I actually felt it. I felt my hands being tightly gripped, the right hand, and my left hand was being gently caressed. And I saw myself inside the Mayan calendar. And I got zapped with this download that what I was feeling here was my divine masculine guide, as it were. It was a person, a man, holding my hand, and my left hand was being gently caressed by my divine feminine guide. And I got this whole download. It lasted 1 second and it was gone. But I instantly knew that every one of us has a divine masculine and divine feminine guide, if you want to call it that. But it's they who teach us who we are. And we all have both. And I don't know if you're familiar with the Maya, but they have a symbol called the Hunabku. And it looks like the center part of it looks like the yin yang, and then it's got pyramids and stuff. It's a very famous symbol. All my gear is upstairs. I just logged in down here.
Man, we might have to look that up in a second.
I can show you
Um,
all the pictures if you want. Okay,
no, man,
well,
this is
come on
so.
with me. I'll take you all upstairs.
Take us
Oh, but
upstairs.
by the way,
Yeah.
I want to tell you, Todd, I have a doctor's appointment in about 30 minutes, so I can hang out with you for about 30 minutes.
No, this is gold. This is gold.
Right on, right on.
No, I mean, so like I was telling you where I was coming from, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
so I just like put yourself in my shoes for a second. So I
Go
told you
ahead.
that
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not because
37 months.
no, I'm talking
37
about
months.
like doing my like. It's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it was etheric. You know how it is. Things
Uh-huh.
happen in the etheric and then the physical, right?
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
So in 2008 or 9, and of course this does not happen on a linear scale in terms of consciousness and what you
Sure.
understand and comprehend.
I got it.
My beloved, and that's not even doing it justice, put out a prayer,
Okay.
put out a creation from the seed of Mother Goddess to create a place where people could come and share their stories, their
Okay.
skills and abilities, and their, you
Yeah.
know, and shine their soul. And so on the chronological timeline, it hit me. I came out, she came in, and boom, this whole thing
Nice.
started. Now,
Okay.
as we all went through our own journeys and with a lot of downloads,
Yep.
guidance came to go do this purpose and this and that. But
Got it.
at the same time, we're being deconstructed. So what I'm saying
Nice.
to you is, on the 36th show, I knew this would be cool.
Right on.
Um, is that I burnt out, man. I
Okay.
died.
Got it.
I just like hit the
Oh,
finish line. I was like, fuck, I'm
wow.
done. You know, like I mean,
Wow.
I went into like whatever for like 6 weeks. So I
Uh-huh.
come back through it, reunite with her halfway through.
Okay.
There's a lot of, again, words don't do it justice, but
Yep.
aligning,
Yep.
healing,
Yeah.
not to mention what the hell's happening to everybody.
Sure, sure, sure.
And something told me do an open mic discussion, put an invitation out. And
Right.
because I've been trying to find this space through 35 episodes, and they've been fantastic. They've been
Good.
different than the 4,000 before, right?
Right, right, right.
Um, and then I'm sitting here, you know, trying to hold the yeah hold the table down
Uh-huh.
because I don't see anybody coming and not thinking,
Right,
but
right,
here,
right.
you know what I mean, the multidimensional experience, which is what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting to through this whole thing.
Sure.
And I'm going, oh my God, okay, just keep talking, just let it flow, shine your soul, let your voice come out. Don't even,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like the more the voice
Yep.
talks, the worse it gets. So you just start going,
Totally.
and then you
Yeah.
pop in. I
Yep.
don't know you, you know,
Nope.
in that
Nope.
regard,
Yep.
and I go, okay, this is what I'm looking for. Like
Right on.
this space where as my wife said to me the other night, to talk about something you thought you would, to talk about something you've never talked about
Right.
or never thought you would talk about.
Sure. Cool.
I'm not
Well,
saying
okay.
to do that. I'm just saying that space, that sanctity.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Let me give you a little rundown here. This is the Mayan calendar, all right? And it consists of two elements, okay? It is the glyphs, there's 20, and then the tones, and there's one, two, three, four bars, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 bars is 10, 11, 12, 13. So there's 13 by 20, and together that makes a grid like that. This is the 20, and then 1 down through 13, and the next one is 1, and then down to 7 and 8, and then the final one is here, the 20th glyph and the 13th tone. So that's 260 days, and that's the Mayan calendar. So it's grid form and it's also circular form. All right. Now, when you put it together, you get this, which I think is pretty obviously DNA, which is just cool, you know. But the Mayan calendar is multidimensional itself. And so, like I was saying, what happened to me that one day while I was meditating was I got zapped with this. This is what I drew later to describe the experience. This is what I experienced. I didn't see this because this was me, but I saw myself in the middle of the 20, this wheel of 20. And that central symbol there is called the Hunab Ku, by the way.
And you were able to experience that and then express it through like in a third person frequency, cosmically speaking. But
Yeah, it
I
took
wanted
me
to
a
ask
while.
you, I wanted to
Go
ask
ahead.
you, you're I talk to a lot of people, man. This is,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
in the old days, I would have said, how did you start with this, man? How did this happen and all that? But I realized,
4,000 episodes.
but I realize
Uh-huh.
we all have realized that
Yep.
that beehive intelligence, consciousness, and understanding is like available all the time, more and more and more and more. So we don't have to go
Yeah.
into the stories. But dude,
No.
I
Yeah.
mean, the thing about, what you're talking about and
Uh-huh.
what I just heard today, and I think we have to take into consideration synchronicity.
Indeed.
Okay. So, my wife showed me something.
Yep.
Again, that doesn't do her justice. Um,
Sure.
uh, I look at it and it's a couple, an
Uh-huh.
older couple. I'm 63, so I shouldn't be talking, but I'm saying like late 70s, good shape, light workers, boom, boom, boom,
Nice.
talking like they're one voice. I mean, it's like it's weird,
Uh-huh.
like finishing each other's sentences and like fluidity.
Yeah.
But
Beautiful, beautiful.
but the information they were talking about
Uh-huh.
was kind of a composite of not just the real time stuff that's happening that we can only be most close to and sensitive to by being the boots on the ground in the physical. I
Sure.
don't care what's coming in,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah, yeah,
also the
yeah.
rest of it. And what it basically came down to, and I can't remember the third one, so forgive me, but
Okay. Uh-huh.
one of them was the precession of the
Yeah.
equinoxes.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep, yep, yep.
Another one was the cow, wherever the Cowluga comes. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but the
Yeah.
Cowluga
I
comes
think they
from
say Kali Yuga, but
Kali
whatever.
Yuga. Okay. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The Yugas. That's what it is.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
then there was a third one,
Mm-hmm.
which were only examples of what we could grasp in the last 6,000 years. But my
Yeah.
point
Yeah. Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
overall, give or take a day or two, with the
Mm-hmm.
equinox, with the, in the middle of two eclipses, however you want to
Yep.
look
Yep.
at it,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, that we actually are going from that Kali Yuga, which is
Uh-huh.
the end of a dark cycle, like no ifs,
Yes.
ands, or buts, into
Yeah.
something else.
Something light.
Can you talk to, is that real? Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
how you
Yeah.
know that, and also what is the next cycle? Thank you.
Right. Okay. I'm not super in tune with the Kali Yugas and the what the next one is called. I have studied it a bit and seen some workshops on it, and yes, you're right. And I think the Mayan calendar tapped into that. They said we were going through a long period of darkness that we were coming out of on 2012, and December 21st, 2012. Now that phase that they said was 5,125 years long, which is exactly 1/5 of the precession of the equinoxes. So they're, the 2012 December 21st date was linked to these. Okay. Um, I'm just, this freaks me out, so I love talking about it. This is the calendar. The 2012 date was exactly a fractal of this, and the precession is exactly a fractal of this. 36,000 of these is the precession, 26,000 years. This is 260 days.
Man,
Yeah, dude, it's
you
freaky.
know what's cool about, and I really, because I have researched a lot over the years, but I
Yep, yep,
really
yep.
could follow you only because I had, okay,
Right.
but energetically
Yeah.
I could feel it.
Cool.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I totally do.
like, I mean, I talked to so many people, like, you got to understand, it'd be like over the years, it'd be like somebody saying, "Hey, man, I've got a unicorn that's been with me in my bedroom." No, I'm serious, dude. No, I'm serious. You got
Yeah,
to
yeah,
respect
yeah.
everybody's reality.
For
So
sure.
then at some level, and I remember for me, it became, you heard of Law of One, Raw,
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
Law of
Love
One.
love
Okay.
that
Okay.
stuff.
So that whole, okay. So at some point in whatever dimensional experience, it was like maybe a year and a half ago,
Right?
I went into that space
Yep.
that void, the you, me, we're it, and
Nice.
was in that frequency. And it was like 2 nights, okay?
Oh, cool.
And I saw that within the construct, that was even a construct.
Nice. That's
So
big.
that, you know what I mean? So then, like that
Uh-huh.
intel came down through the multidimensional selves, particularly the ones most located closest to the human, including the physical,
All
which
right.
is really coming online. I'd love to talk to you about this, the
Yeah.
mental, emotional, etc.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
to understand that to be open is to be open to everything, to
Sure.
be open to your relationship with
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
external of you, no matter the
Yeah.
narrative or the, whatever the, fuckery is.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I would add, like this is so cool. I feel like I just met you, at a bar.
Well, it's true.
But like, um, so like someone like you where you're at, what's your day like? Where's your
Well,
head at? And let me just try to put this in a real general term. There's no judgment. I'm trying to learn.
go ahead.
Are you in the field of the collective um, appraisal? Yeah, I don't know. That's probably not the right word. The collective. Let's just put it that way. Your energy,
Sure.
your intention. Uh,
Yep.
is your field in yourself, or
Um,
is your field? How do you say this? Or is your field? I don't want to say somewhere else. What I want to say is
yeah.
looking for something else. And I'm talking as a human, as a soul, as what you've downloaded, as what you
Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. Yeah. Um, there have been moments in my life where I've had expanded awareness, and some of them were psychedelically induced, and some of them were meditatively induced. Um, in general, I know that I am you and you are me and we are all one. Like, I know that to be true. I have experienced it. Um, the Mayan saying "In Lakesh Alakin" means I am you, you are me, we are one. And that's what their symbol here represents as well, right? The dark and the light are one. And to get back to your first question about the Kali Yugas and everything, um, I think we went through a long period of darkness, indeed, maybe being controlled by it, and you also tapped into something earlier that we created it to begin with, right? So we created the illusion that we were controlled by darkness. And we really did it great. Like, whoa. Like, I didn't tell you this, but I live in Hiroshima, right? I teach the grandchildren of the survivors. Like I had a friend who recently died who was 8 years old at the time the bomb dropped. She lost family, her whole life, her whole city. You know what I mean? So like I live here and like I live, it's like living in
What kind of soul is
Auschwitz.
she? What kind of
Beautiful
soul is
woman.
she?
She emanated forgiveness, right? Like I learned so much from her. She had nothing against anybody, not against Oppenheimer, not against the, Truman, like nothing. She was just like, whoa, that was fucked up. Let's go the other direction. Wonderful woman.
Uh, Robert
Your signal just cut out there. You might
Springer.
have to repeat that for me.
Accept.
Yeah, your signal
Okay,
cut out
hang on,
there.
hang on.
Might
All
be my
right.
signal. Yeah, no, I can't hear you right now.
No, it's
So I'll
mine.
just keep on rapping. um,
You can't hear me. Can you hear me?
now I can. Yeah, your signal cut out
Okay.
for a bit.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Did you have a
Wow. This
question
is
there?
so, well, yeah, this is so cool. Um, It's one thing if by some way or another we would have connected. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a virtual world now. Like we were like 17, 18, hanging out, getting out in high school, driving around in
yeah,
our
yeah,
car, and you
yeah,
run into somebody, you
yeah.
know, but those
At the
things don't
A&W.
happen. A&W. Where are you from?
I'm from Canada. I lived all over Canada, coast to coast, the whole
Okay,
country.
hang on.
Lived all.
Hang on. Robert Scribner. I'm gonna
Ah,
send you
yeah, 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 yeah,
there's a
yeah.
little box that's gonna pop up and it's gonna
All right,
say,
all
"Do
right,
you
all
want to be
right.
a panelist?" Click that, okay?
Uh-huh.
Click yes. Not no.
Is
All
he
right.
coming in?
Um, and
I
I
got
feel
about
like it's like
I got
that. I
about
feel like
10
it's like that.
minutes, by the way,
Look,
Todd.
let
I
me
got
see
to
it.
leave
Let
in
me
10
back.
minutes, all right? There
Okay,
we go. Scribner's coming in.
dude, I am.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to pass
Let me
the
see if I can
baton to Robert in about 10 minutes.
let me see if I can connect to this stream again. Hang on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it was back to like meeting somebody. Okay,
Yeah,
so for me, it's becoming more and more apparent. I'm not saying for other people. I'm saying I live my existence with Morgan Lee, and it's moving so fast. We share as much as we can, but it's
yeah,
moving that fast. The
right.
intelligence, the consciousness, the awareness, the ability to accentuate it. It's a
Yeah,
whole different vibe, you know?
indeed. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, and I go back to my situation, not because it was me, but because to say something has happened.
Right.
All right. And this is going to go right back to what's behind your head.
Cool.
So I felt it was first, like say the winter solstice, or maybe I'm
Yep.
right, maybe I'm wrong, whatever the case is, but something changed.
Sure.
We're in a different place. You
Right.
can't build things the way you used to because there's
No.
not the same building material, etc. I mean, like it's multi-dimensional, multi-human, because the human's honesty with myself is like
Right.
in some weird way driving the whole thing, right? So you're in this new
Yeah,
place, right? You know what I
yeah.
mean? So you're in this
It's
new place.
consciousness.
Yeah, yeah, but it can't even be explained by consciousness
No.
because the only consciousness that can explain it is you and me and our brothers and sisters in this moment right now. The boots on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
something about the accessibility to code,
Right.
not just to discover it, but to create new code.
Right. Right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's where my head's at. And that's probably the best way I could have explained in the last 3 years. I don't even
Right
know,
on.
but
No, I
um,
like it.
my the whole reason I started what I was saying and I lost track of it was the okay, as an example.
Yeah.
Before I came on today, in my mind, I didn't put it in a post. I put up a repost of a men's group I'm going to run for 8 weeks. I have no idea what we're going to do, but I'm going to go in there, balls out, heart open, and just see what happens.
Right on.
I reposted it. I said, I told Morgan, I'm going to do an open round table.
Yeah.
And then I thought about putting a list up, which was like, men who wants to talk about somewhere we've never gone before, blah, blah, blah. And then the second
Right.
one was about um, letting go,
Right.
just letting go, the energy of letting go. So, anyway, so then all of a sudden I'm sitting here by myself for 8 or 9 minutes. You know, my soul's going, oh, you're going to start channeling, and your human's going, what the hell's going on? And then you pop in, and it was like
uh,
that kind of recognition. It was like the
cool.
recognition of, oh, hey, everything's okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
back to the Mayan calendar.
Okay. Well, what
Do
I
you
want to tell
feel?
you,
I just want to ask you. Do you
go ahead, go
feel?
ahead.
No, that thing to me looks like a digital game. Like I'm
I know
63, so like back in
you
the
want to talk about code,
like
dude.
Tetris and yeah, yeah.
For sure.
But do you feel? And I mean, I ask you this as a human being,
Yeah, yeah.
as a man,
Yeah.
as a soul.
Yeah.
not one over the other, but like Trinity, like
Yeah,
unity,
yeah.
like sacred union, like the human beings got some code.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just want to ask you,
Uh-huh.
on a personal level, and you can share it to whatever level you want.
Okay.
Um, I'll have to say it this way. I can give away my own position. But
Go
do you
ahead.
feel like that the everything behind us is let go? And everything that's real, that we doubted, that we experienced, that we whatever is with us. And we're in this physical experience where all of a sudden there are, a myriad of multi-dimensional skills and abilities available that blow every narrative away, every fucking thing away. I mean, aliens landing or what all these narratives, all that
Hey, hey,
stuff
hey.
through us,
Right.
through us with the human being being very, very, very present as the piece of us that stokes the furnace, the flame.
Right. What I will say, you mentioned the law of one, and I love the teachings in that. And what it does is it expands your mind sort of beyond, any framework we have here. And that includes past lives and enormous amounts of time. And another thing I'm very interested in is past lives and how now we've come to understand it that our future lives and our past lives are all connected to right here and right now. And it's all oneself, you know? So
Yeah.
it's not actually past lives, it's other lives. And they were, they are, they still exist, and the future ones too. So it's a very multidimensional perspective. Now, Todd, I have to run my appointment. I
Okay,
cannot
brother.
miss this, but I
Yeah,
just want to
man.
say that your birthday is on here. You're one of these days, and
What do you
so
mean?
is your wife. And I must find
Oh,
out the connections between the two of you. So please connect with me later, and I will do your astrology. Both of you have a divine masculine and divine feminine, and they might be one of the same glyphs or tones, and it's freaky, and that's the code I'm
dude,
talking
I'll look
about.
you up on that.
Good.
I read that resonated. I could feel it in my
Right
body.
on, right on.
Thank you,
I'm
brother.
excited.
Thank
All
you
right,
very
Robert,
much.
take it away. I'm passing you the baton. I gotta go, man. So much love to
Uh,
you. In Lakesh, Alakim.
hmm.
Now,
Todd.
Dude, how long has it been? How do you, Robert? Seriously, I'm talking like what, 5, 6, 7? I don't even know. And this is the first time I've ever seen a picture of you or a video of you. I thought it was going to be like someone like me. Now I'm a little bit older. I'm 63, but I figured it'd be like 55, crew cut, old hippie that, went into the system, came out, reawoke, walked away from the establishment. Thank you for coming in, man.
Yeah, yeah. Believe me, I've been following for since the Goddess Festival in DC.
Dude, are you serious?
Yeah,
2018. No, yeah, yeah, 2018.
yeah.
Dude,
It's
that was so powerful. That period was powerful. I mean, I'm out of a suitcase and I just got married to Morgan in a spiral. Uh, Out of nowhere, somebody just built. I mean, you know what I mean? It was that kind of energy. Um,
yeah. It was definitely a portal. When I walked into the circle, I had two people that because I wasn't driving at that time, and I had someone to drive me there, and they weren't ready. I walked over there and they walked away because the energy was very it was dense, like you know it was light, but it was dense at the same time to them. So,
Man, do you know that? So I was like just like doing G and just like, living out of my suitcase, going from here to there. Morgan comes to Georgia. We end up going into Jersey. All of a sudden we're married in a spiral. Boom, she's got to go back. Visa's over. And then this happened, right? Like in between, then I went to Hawaii with nothing. It's like, you're going to Hawaii. I'm like, how can I go to Hawaii? And boom, just look, boom. So it was that kind of energy back then, which I find very interesting. And I've wanted to talk to people about it. But in this case, as you talk about the circle, right? Like that
mhm.
circle, like there was another geometry coming in, like a creativity boom or something was going on that made no fucking sense. What?
Yeah.
As a man, I don't know if the feminine can feel it, but that's how it was. It was like, oh my God, you know. Um, but yeah, that was big time. So you were I remember your name, I do, your energy. I remember it for so long.
Yeah. I remember I had a Magneto shirt on. you uh, yeah, it was it's been a bit of a nice journey, ups and downs, and you know, it's time for me to start talking more, you know. I've had a long journey even to be able to speak. I had a massive stroke, had to learn how to speak and walk again, and I was uh, I was dead for like 4 minutes, walking with Jesus the whole 9 yards. And when I woke up, had tubes down my throat, had to learn how to speak, walk, metal hip, the whole ringer. So just speaking right here is it's rough for me sometimes, but like you and the community here and Facebook friends, you guys all me give me strength, and I'm grateful for that.
Dude, wow.
Yeah.
It's so crazy the way the code and intelligence travels and processes and can be expressed if you can just like find that, you know what I mean? Like what you just shared was like past, future, present, human, soul, boom, boom, man. It's just like boom. And I I tried this men's group in January for 4 weeks. Masculinity, femininity, sacred union, and it was an eye opener. It was like a challenge to my human and a calling to my soul. In this incarnation, with what you embody, which I feel like I'm looking at myself, looking at you, you seeking that space, and I'm gonna start it again this Sunday. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but this is the kind of um, frequency that I feel that or field that I feel could really provide a tremendous code, just like with everything that happened with the feminine energy and all of us in this world and so on, that we came to that came into our awareness and we came to all the confrontations that it brought. You know what I mean? The same for the man, for the masculine. So where are you today with all this, with everything you've been become aware of and what you've experienced?
I'm constantly upgrading, downloading, every day. It's a lot for me. Uh, Going through what I've been through, there's a lot there. Uh, Most of the times, I really want to speak, getting my words more eloquently speedy, spoken it does give me a hard time. So that's probably why I've been not really speaking out more. You can hear I have aphasia. So I always had a great vocabulary and uh, expressive words. And, I don't really have that pop that I used to, but I can get through, you know. So I make a lot of small posts that are most about comic book characters just because it resonates with me a lot. I'm like, you don't see it. You don't see it. And it's not my fault, and it just keeps coming to me that it's time for me to speak more and to work on my speech. And because you want to talk about code, I got codes for days. you know, uh, I don't even know where to start.
Well, you have humility.
Yeah.
Um, as well. I mean, everything's real time, right? So, um, what would you choose to share? From your heart, from your openness.
Oh man.
I don't want to put you on the spot, dude. I can go another direction. Let me try, and you can choose to answer either way. Um, how much of a because well, I'll tell you what I'm feeling, and I value every conscious moment as the eternal moment. I don't care you know what the circumstances are in the human perspective. Um, there's something about the masculine energy, not to differentiate anyone from anyone else, but I feel that in you. And that's what I was trying to talk about or get to was this coding that the he part of us has, that many of us carry as physical male incarnations.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there. There's a story there that he barely knows. And he only barely knows it because he's barely talked to his brothers about it. And it doesn't have to be a specific story. It's just a place where the openness is at that level. I don't know if you can relate to that. And thank you for letting me speak on that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, if I can talk to you about just how I grew up, you know, uh, uh, my dad was a tree man. Uh, so he didn't, the karma, holding a lot of karma on my dad's side of the family. Uh, my granddad, he got his guts cut open on a motorcycle accident, and nearly died. My dad broke his back and it falling out of the tree 70 feet. Uh, Almost killed him. And here, my thing was I was a great athlete in high school. You know, I got every award that you could get: track and field, football. You know, I got you name it, and I got it. And after that, I didn't want to. You know, I was just kind of going with the motions. Like, okay, well, I guess I'll do football because that'll be it's something to do. You know, and I was going to go to University of Maryland to be a hammer thrower, and but I had to stay at Montgomery College for a year, and when that happened, a fire happened, and at that point, it started going downhill. You know, drugs and for a long time. Uh,
Did you get injured in the fire?
no, no. Uh, I was cleaning, and when I came back, my dad was had the hose, and it's like there's a fire, and it was because it was probably something that I was doing because I had a couple bags of trash in the back, and there was it was a hot day, so something happened. It was, you know, like a lighter or something, or something. A neighbor had a cigarette butt going on, and just the fire happened. So when I left, I was 18, so I couldn't leave. My family had like a hotel to have a place because the the insurance wouldn't pay because the insurance lapsed. So I had nowhere to stay. I had my car. So I had like my car, my clothes, and my trophies. Like that was all I had on me at that point. And, you know, and started being a working man, you know, and that led to the other stuff. And that started to eating on me. And before you know it, I have kidney disease. I have kidney disease right now. You know, um, I don't know if you've seen my posts. You know, I've been on dialysis for a long time, and I have like a port in my stomach, and uh, you know, it's rough. You know, just because I can't really go anywhere. You know, my whole day is go to the gym, do my treatment, and ground, stretch. It's pretty mundane, you know, but like I said, you guys, the community gives me strength.
Why is that?
Just that other people have been has been through stuff, you know, and I can understand that, you know, and I see it. Yeah.
Dude, thank you. No, I mean, um, in the experience, in the what, raveling, going down into the depths of the spiral. Um, you went deep, didn't you?
That's an understatement.
What was the biggest thing that, and I'm gonna share something. What was the biggest thing that you had to let go of or are having to let go of? And I would say the last thing for me was shame. Uh, Based on the level, the depth of the lower spiral experience, regardless of the the downloads that came in and the activations and expansions that came in as I came out of it. It was a very deep experience. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, especially knowing, like I was said in high school, I was the guy. I wasn't really popular, honestly. I was like I got like the dark horse of my team because they just didn't respect me. They didn't like me, which is normal, I think, for a lot of us star seeds or whatever you want to call it. You know, uh, uh, I got the dark horse award and stuff like that, and I found my tribe or my friends that you know gave me strength. Having friends is good. But then after that, the shame. I agree. It's a lot. You don't want to say. You don't even want to touch it. You know. Uh,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. Because I mean, if you want to be real, when I was in the hospital, it started with pills and then that evolved to the next iteration of that, which I was I was in and out of the hospital for almost 10 years, in and out. And it's crazy to say I know I wasn't going to die. Uh, even to the point where I was actually conscious when I had the stroke, and I was watching the doctors in the hospital, and my mom was behind me the whole time because just my mom was there, you know, and they said you have to let him go and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm right here, like, maybe I was hovering my body. You never know, but like I couldn't speak after the stroke. I couldn't. They had to bathe me twice a day, and you want to talk about shame, you know. Uh, yeah, uh, but like through all of that, you want to talk code. I got, like I say, the code I got was golden. You know, uh, every time I was in the hospital, I was still thank you for every doctor. I had mystical experiences in the hospital, healings. And like, I knew it was okay, which is crazy. You think I'm just destroying my body, but that's literally what I did. I destroyed half of my body. Have a stroke from the right side of my body. My lower body, my body, I don't really have much feeling. Uh, uh, and how I got out of that, I just knew God wouldn't. It was okay, and to, at this point now, I don't have any shame. Like, I needed all of it, for these codes, for me. It's like, you ever watch I love Star Trek. There's one where Q takes some Picard to see if he can redo something in the past, and Picard did it, and he's like, "Oh, look what you did! You really fucked that everything up," and so he had to go through being stuck in the heart again, and I also I had open heart surgery, so that's on top of all that. And the scars on my on my uh, on my midsection. I was holding about 100 pounds of water on me. I have some gnarly scars. You can't even can't even imagine. I look at myself and I'm like, dude, I'm like anime character. Like, what the hell, and I'm here. I'm here. Like I said, when I was down, I was walking with Jesus. You know, I could see myself and Jesus. I was seeing as the observer, me and Jesus, and there was a bunch of me's. You know, playing basketball, running around. And I woke up and I had tubes down my throat, and it was like, okay, we got this. Not even be able to move uh, is I don't even know what to say about it anymore. When I woke up, it was my sister and her best friend, and it was like, oh, hey, you know, uh, oh man.
Wow. How do you feel about, for lack of a better word, your time here, right now, and moving forward?
Moving forward, uh, there's nothing to do now for me. I have to keep going. Speaking more, working on my speech more, being able to tell my full story. Multiple times people have read me and say, you got to make a book, man. I mean, make a movie, and I don't know if I really want to make a movie. A book. I just want to be, and but that I don't know what 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 comes for me. I just I just like you, Todd. It's like, just let it come. I don't want to put any any filters on myself. You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
no,
know
no, no, no,
exactly.
no, no. You're really like,
Yeah.
you know,
No, I know exactly what you mean.
yeah,
And I
you know,
said it as a joke for many years, but it's true.
yeah.
It's
No,
true.
like,
It's true because I mean, I would say I am soul is another way of saying I'm not afraid to show my ass.
yeah,
And seriously, seriously, right up to this moment right now. I mean, I barely know what I just said, but I understand the code within it. And there's something happening within the encodement, universally, humanly, however you want to put it, that's happening that's overriding everything. I feel, and thank you. Thank you. I feel that it's coming from the 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 most powerful point is coming from this transparent channel of the human multidimensionality. Maybe you say the chakras and the multidimensionality, and just putting it out there. Not about money. It's not about anything other than sharing this pure code. And for me, where my thoughts were before this started, where I was like, man, I'd like to have a conversation with a dude, and two dudes come in. You know what I mean? Like, what are the odds? And get into something that we haven't got into. And for me, I'm learning more and more. It's not. It is the conversation, but beneath the conversation is the opportunity to express to the best of your ability. Whether somebody says, "Oh my God, he's the I am soul," or "Oh my God, he's showing his ass," right? Like to really share that, and from our masculine side. I'm not saying that it's the most important thing. What I'm saying is there's a part of our masculine that is understanding the only way we can get through and contribute and live and etc. is to do it ourselves. And it's going to require that we speak, so to speak. Thank you, brother.
yeah. Um, you know, I wish I could flow a little more, maybe it's a little nervous in me, but you know, uh, wow. I agree. You know, Todd, there was a maybe last year, uh, we met in Dreamtime like 4 or 5 times, even with Morgan. Uh, so like I know we're all connected, you know. I call you you're a prime soul, you know. So or I call you a prime soul, you know. So uh,
I think not because in this situation it's me and Morgan or whatever, but these things are important to mention, even if we don't have some kind of rationale for them. This is what I'm talking about, like this new level of communication that's occurring. It's a place where we're not being allowed to leave any of us behind, including the human being. And there are some similar characteristics between the personality of a human being and a soul. I'll leave it at that. But my point is to me, it feels very rich. Like I feel like I know there's eclipse. When is it? It's in like in 2.5 hours. Um, Something deep has been coming in over. It's getting stronger. All of it. I mean, we can generalize it or whatever, but man, wow. March, February was a motherfucker. About you? I'm living with my beloved in Mexico near the beach, and but energetically, speaking in the most positive sense and the most challenging sense, right? You might say, but March has been something like it literally feels like this this opportunity to step up by whatever means we can from where we are with what we have, however we can. And that contains I am soul, sacred union, Trinity, and all the math beyond that. Like anything's possible. I know that sounds like pipe dreams, but I feel like that what you've done for me tonight has really helped me. And I've had a lot of problems on the right side of my body, the masculine side of my body, to take on, even in the physicality over the last 3 or 4 weeks, really pure masculine code. And I really feel honored that you would share what you've shared so far um, with us all.
Yeah, I think it was a long time coming. I've been wanting to reach out, you know, uh, but it's like I said, it's like what am I gonna say? The some of the stuff that the code that I have might blow people out of the water. You know.
Can you share some of it? Franco De
um,
Nicola said that. Franco De Nicola said the same thing, and I had somebody else say that to me today, and I respect that. Don't get me wrong, but if we're tapped into a beehive intelligence, and in some way the contagiousness of the conscious awareness in the physical being is a power and not something to be negated. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to get so dramatic. But yeah, can you share a little bit of what you might be apprehensive to share?
whew, uh, there's been a lot, especially recently. Uh, it making me blank a little bit. Uh, it's a lot of the masculine being the crown jewel of down here, you know, like the mother holding us, you know, uh, who's beholding, you know, what am I trying to say?
Take your time.
Yeah. You know, I do a lot of dream work, you know, and I came down and Sophia, she showed me some things as Daenerys Targaryen, and you know, this blood moon, fire and blood, uh, and also it's Holly, you know, the Krishna and Radha, you know. So taking out darkness, you know, I just made a post, and you know, everything in my life has shown me that I'm in the center of it, which not in like a ego kind of way, that it's just it's what it is, you know, that 33.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Where are you at? What
uh,
what time is it
I'm
there?
at in Maryland.
Oh, okay. So you're 9:33. Okay. There you
Yeah.
go. With-
Yeah.
um
You
yeah,
know,
there's some element of that. I used to tell my like in 2013, 14, 15, I had my two youngest kids, they were both girls, and they were like 9 and 11 to, 2, 3 years into that. Um and I was into the Sology thing, and with many of us, it was post 2012, and as I would talk or whatever they would see online or whatever, it was like you are the center of the universe.
mhm.
But then when we would get into the dynamics of the household, you know, it'd be like, what do you think you are, the center of the universe? But it's, you know what I mean? But and you kind of spoke to that in a way for me anyway. It's right there. It is a fine line. It might be miles and miles wide, but there's a place. And the way my mind works is like, talking to you, because I don't know, there just seems to be something untapped in the human. I realize this is not all of me and that's not all of you, etc. But why would we do anything without the potential and possibility to grow?
Mhm.
So having said that, I look at it and go to looking at someone like you with what you've shared, how do you face every day? I don't mean face as it is a challenge. I mean, what is your day like? And I know I said something similar to this earlier, but are you in a constant communion? Are you, no, there's no judgment. I'm just saying, you're multidimensional. Is it a challenge because of that knowledge to be a human being and get the most out of every moment that comes?
uh, you say it a lot. You know, the hero is the human. The the human is the hero. You know, uh, what's Joseph Campbell? You know, that whole thing. Uh, you know, if you're not embodying, we're not supposed to go anywhere else. You know, we're supposed to bring Heather down here, have heaven down here. You know, so I try not to worry a bit, and just let it flow naturally. You know, my day. You know, get ready, have some tea, connect with the universe. Sometimes it's just too much. Like, I have to restart and do it again. And then I'll go to the gym, talk to people. Sauna is always good, you know. And when I get in the flow state, every time people will come to me, you know. I've had that are people that are literally embodied masters speak to me, and start reading me. And he's like, oh yeah, I know your dad, your granddad, that's the he I know what happened with that. And he tells me, and I'm just like, okay. And uh it's like, did this just happen,
So are you saying that this type of interaction, and I'm trying to learn and feel the code, uh, was a multi-dimensional interaction?
Oh yes. You know, like I believe the one was Hermes came down, and a guy as a person, and we were just talking, and he was like, you know what? And this guy, he also had a open heart surgery scar and everything like that, and I think it was Hermes or Thoth or something, and he's like, yeah, well, oh, I'm a writer, and I've done all these things, and and he's just very matter of fact, and he's like, you know what? He's like, you gave me hope for the whole universe today, and there was a guy in the back just like watching both of us. It's just, you can see it. You can see when there's a shift, and one things that I've always done in the back of my mind has who's running that avatar over there, and I've done that since I was a, a, a little one, who's really up there, is this a NPC? Are there people really that are NPCs? I think, mm, maybe, because people throw that around a lot, but like, it's, like, if you're seeing NPCs, what's that tell about you? So
Yeah, that's, I appreciate having the opportunity to try to go into this space because it's mind blowing. I
yeah.
don't care who you are, at least the people that like you that I've been connected to, and these communities or whatever you want to call it, being self-aware, having the intention to take on responsibility and have those conversations with the universe about yourself, and as you transform your human, and we get to this place, and the intel is so deep. It really is. There's so many things playing out: the masculine, the feminine, the golden child, the not to mention all the multitude of narratives that come from the external, which we're detaching from. And something tells me that there is a massive communication pipeline that we're all and always have been connected to, not to alleviate us of anything, not to bypass anything, but to say this is real shit. This is me sharing my heart. Yeah, I might have showed my ass. I showed up. And we all showed up. But I've heard some people talk about this since the first of the year, people that were more in the background even that have come on the show, and that it's time to come out. And if we were waiting for a time to come out where we're going to feel good, like, like military troops, like drilled, and we know what we're going to do, we know what formation we're going to take. No, it's not like that. It's like, for me, it feels like the only way to learn is to try, is to attempt to the best of your ability in that given moment to create something that's an inspiration and expression of this unity consciousness, which is innate in all of us. And there seems to be colossal possibilities in a very short period of chronological time. Thank you for letting me rant.
I agree. I agree. Here, here. you know. Uh,
How ha- Let me ask you this, if it's not too personal. How
Wait
have
on me.
you how you can ask me anything you want to, but how have you, because it's really you, like in the most embodied sense, gone through the physical experience, the very human and physical experience that you have and that you shared with us, and at the same time have this collective understanding or whatsoever, uh, what have you. Um, how has that worked for you? Is are both, coming in equally? Are both your friends all the time? Are both how is that relationship within yourself? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Um, you know, the idea is to be more centered, to say, you know, and bring more of yourself. I always say we've hit this the sacred bottom, or okay, the sacred bottom. You know, here we are. You know, anchor the bottom of it. You know, and before you know it, we're looking down. We're in destruction and all that. But we still anchor. You know, my like my dad, he he gave me one nickname, and he never wavered on my nickname. He never called me Robert or Rob, Bob. He always called me Hard Rock. You know, and never once he called me Bob or Robert. So I I already knew that, it's like I'm supposed to anchor, you know, uh, and a pretty dense area on top of that.
Are you talking about DC area?
Yeah, yeah. What the the town I grew up in is the most diverse in the whole country, and the second town is right over top where I live in here in Germantown. You know, and you can Google that right now. It's the most diverse population here, even more than New York, which is crazy.
Well, you're right in the heart of where it all started, so to speak, in general. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, like, the fact that you're there, God, who was I? My wife sent me a video of this couple, this older couple, and they were talking about, their intel. And I believe it was that one. And they were talking about, and we've heard it before, people being positioned on certain parts of the planet. Um, a lot of people I've talked to over the years have been guided to go here and go there and pack up their stuff and sell things and this and that. But yeah, I think there's something to that. Our souls have been coming in and communicating to us to a level where we're doing the things that we've been doing and also doing them together. And to me, it feels like all this, almost like all this effort you put out against the wind. Uh, we've gone to another side now, and those seeds are planted and sprouting. And there's a flow to keeping that cycle of creation or cycle of the seasons or whatever the case is going. Hmm. So, brother, I had no idea. I mean, every moment's the eternal moment. If that's what I do is podcasts, every podcast is the eternal podcast. Like it's every uh, merging potential, every coming together, every vortex is an opportunity that is being less and less discounted. because of the appraisal systems of the old and more emphasized in practice as we do it. That's how I feel. I feel like we come together. Dude, I don't want to be doing this. It took everything I had. And my soul's coming and going, you're gonna go do this. I'm like, I don't want to do this, you know. But this has been magnificent. Both of you. Um, thank you,
Thank you.
really, on behalf of everybody. It's been a, you know, a tough haul for all of us. And we're not just talking about this summary life, but we're here, like you said. You said, I'm here. Fucking A.
I go
Fucking
to the
A.
gym and they say, "What's going up, Bob?" And he's like, I just tell him I'm here. Yeah, that's the only thing I can tell. It's like I'm here. I'm here. I'm right here. You know, like my grid is a very powerful grid, actually. So I know I'm supposed to be here. Uh, I really don't want to stay here. I want to get out, and have some more different experiences. But for right now, my grid is very powerful. So
Yeah, I think that in two ways. Like, I get what you're saying about the physical experience and getting out and this and that, but I think we've also, I think many of us can relate to get me out of here. You know what I mean? Let me
yeah,
go back. I did
yeah,
a great conversation with Marina Jacoby today, who's been doing work for a long time, very specific, very unique. And the last thing I said to her was, "What is your dream?" She goes, "To go home." But I I feel like that's part of the offering is to be in a space where you do have this multi-dimensionality. You
hmm
do have all the parts of the active consciousness to include the ego in the evolvement of the soul with intention in this space, but we've got this free will. And I really feel like this is the you know the I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but it's a real pure opportunity, and somehow or another it is uh, most potentialized by the purest transparent, even if it's with another person, with yourself, the human and the highest parts of us while we're still in this body.
yeah,
You know, it's a
yeah. I don't ever think that. Oh, I want to get out of here. I was like, I've been through too much to not play this thing out to the end. And I'm not allowed to be this so woo woo. I'm supposed to be fully embodied, and it's rough. It's rough, But I tell you that when I see my friends or people out, I only see love. I don't see fighting. I like I watched a, a pinch of media and stuff like that. It doesn't. Oh, it's like, okay, that's where they're at right now, but it doesn't affect me. Like you know I see people upgrading every day, getting better, stronger. I speak. There's a lot of people around that are connected with their spirit guides, and I'm just like, let them be. Uh, and I
that's really
relish that role.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I like to just to be there and just observe. I'm very observant. Just my nature. I said say who's running that avatar. I already kind of see it. Uh, so but I do feel you and I are connected uh, closely. Um, you know, we're supposed to be down here right now.
Right, right here,
Wait,
right
what?
now. That's all we got right here,
Yeah.
right now, right? I mean, wow, this is such a crazy space, Robert. I mean, it's like all the loops, all the narratives. People talk about that split. The last 3 or 4 or 5 years, Earth's going to split. And boom, you're going to, and obviously, energetically, that's always a possibility. But I almost feel like that's, and I've said this before, and I'm sure others have too. But there's something going on with that. It's not about they're going there and we're going here. It's about, do I want to be there? Because what you just said really to me is the litmus test, which is allow allow those others, all others, whatever, to have their own rhythm, to have their own trajectory, to have their own intelligence to create and to meet you there. You know what I mean? It's a wild, deep technology. And again, I know that I am biased and prejudiced, but there's something about having what code you have available at any time. Not saying we're always perfect, but in the boots on the ground consciousness. And I really feel like that conversations like this, be they just me and you, and not a bunch of people watching, or not, are very conducive to a greater awareness and understanding and abilities to create like we do in our dreams. And I know that sounds woo woo, but fuck it. You know what I mean?
The woo woo. There's
Woo woo is. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is like, somebody goes into a tone or a gong plays or a bird chirps or, it's a different, it's not just a higher level of intelligence. It's a more expansive uh, um, bandwidth of communication. And we can't communicate in that bandwidth if we're still down here trying to unravel. You know what I mean? Like, why'd you say that? And all that stuff, right? We're in this other place, and it really is to me a very much like a surrendering, almost, well, a void, uh, a holy darkness, the womb. Like we're in the womb, and we're in the physical with all the things that come with that, which is like doubt, death programs, the whole 9 yards. It's like this is crazy. We can't get away from the human. Is how kind of how I feel. Like it's got to be part of that ultimate potential alignment uh, at a minimum. Like to me, that would be. Well, I was going to say perfection, but I don't want to go home yet.
No. Well, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll be a different person. I'll still have
Yeah.
my my core will never change, but every conversation changes us immensely,
Yeah.
if you know it or not, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Everything does, right? I mean, again, that's how do you explain this? So many people in the 35 shows before when I started this in January, how do you explain what's happening? You can kind of explain parts of it. I don't think parts of it are what you're talking about. Like, I don't want to say there's going to be fewer words, but there's going to be less explanation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's not like we've got to connect the dots because they're connecting um, through showing up. And I really feel like for me anyway, and it could just be me. Like I said earlier, I'll say it again. I really feel like that, as the individual goes, so goes the collective. And for me, from my own personal experience, however that might help someone or not, that something has landed for me with the masculine energy with you coming on and the brother before, but really being kind of, accentuated by your presence, your calm, your peace, your power, your honesty, your integrity, um, your transparency. Uh, that's to me like the wild card in the whole thing in the human incarnation is the mass. We forgot about the feminine. It's come online, it's led the way, and there's a part of our masculine that is, I don't want to say supreme being, but it's like, you know what? I mean, it's a part that's uh, I feel it's coming out. I'm in awe of.
Yeah, I remember a couple of shows ago, there was a feminine saying, don't worry about the feminine. She got hers. Like you got to surrender, just allow it. Just because every time that I do, it goes it goes really deep and it goes and I come out, whew, got a piece of myself back, literally, you know. I think last month, because my the whole thing for me was to embody higher self, you know. And when I woke up the next day and I was like, what, I'm my higher self right now, you know. Like when I realized that, it's like this is where we are. So we have to embody higher self down here in the physical, woo woo, whatever you call it. It is what it is, you know.
Man, I hope you come to the men's group. It's first one Sunday, Monday
Yeah,
down.
I will. I already
Really,
set up.
I'm like I have no idea what's going to go. I've been around Morgan and watched her formulate things both primarily with women and open, but mostly women show up, and then also a men's group at one point. But um, I don't know. I feel like the only way to find out is to show up and do the best you can and go for it and release judgment and doubt and throw yourself into that group consciousness that I've seen and experienced in her groups and other groups occasionally, of that beehive intelligence, of that conscious human awareness uniting in a place with the same intention. I just want to see what happens, and I hope it goes okay. It might be canceled after a week or two if nobody shows up, but yeah, man, I'd love to see you come. Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your soul and your mind with us. Blessings of grace to you and yours. Healing, peace, love, and comfort.
Thank you, Todd. I appreciate all this. So I'll be there.
All right, brother. I'll see you soon. Peace
All
out.
right. Peace out.